Hello everybody, my name is Jan Dufour and I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator and I live just outside of Louisville, Kentucky. I take care of a little bit of business. If you're on YouTube watching me, first of all, please consider subscribing. I post once a week and then the only other time I post is if there's a flash sale. My website is stampmesilly.com. If you'd like a free catalog or if you have any questions, you can either post in the comments below or email me at jandufour@yahoo.com. If you like any of the products you see and you don't have a demonstrator and would like to order from me, you can go directly to my online store at jandufour.stampinup.net. Okay, took care of business. So what we have here is two little bunnies facing each other, and it says you're a friend like no other, and then on the inside I do have it as white. And I bet you're wondering, let me show you the stamp set. There is only one bunny looking in that direction. So how did I get this one? Well, let me show you. I'm going to put this aside and put this up on the corner so you can see. Here's a couple of examples, and I was trying out a couple of things. When you're choosing your DSP, you have to keep in mind that there are some inner features that you want to be able to see pretty well. So if it's too busy, I mean, he's really cute, but it is kind of busy. So I would stick to plainer DSP. You can do it also with the solid white and then just color it in. But today I'm going to use these two. A little bit different than what I have up there. And that's okay. I'm going to put my bunnies aside here. So I punched this one out. This is the direction of, well, when you punch it, it's punched this way. It is the direction of the punch. So if I stamped it first and then inserted that there, I could punch it out. These are whoa, my head just went crazy. Photopolymer, that's what I really wanted to say. So you can place it on there, although you have to be a little bit more careful. You cannot do that with the bunny that goes in this direction. You have to just freeform it with the blocks. So let me show you. Obviously, I punched out this bunny and I punched out this bunny so that I would have them, because this is the only way I can punch, but you can flip your paper. So that's what I did for that. And then using a Melon Mambo, I took my bunny stamp. And I'm not using this as an excuse because it can be off a little bit anyway. But it is harder when I can't put my head right in the camera. So I'm going to do the best I can. I'm matching up the bunny ears and his tail. And usually if you can do that, it comes out pretty good. We'll see. You know me, I don't redo. That's great. I love him. All right. So he came out good. We're going to put him aside. Now, to get this guy done, I just took a clear block. Doesn't have to be a block. It can be anything that's smooth and non-porous. It could actually be a little piece of glass. Don't cut yourself. What you do is you ink it up just like that. Now here's the part. You have to put it straight down and not wiggle. Not wiggle is hard when it's slippery. Whoops. And try not to do that. Now it's not perfect. I see here that it's off a little bit, but that doesn't matter because we're going to fix that anyway. Again, because I can see through it, I can put this one's actually a little bit easier because I'm not looking through the actual physical stamp itself. It's straight. So now you can see, let me pick it up and show you. It's not super great. So this technique can be done with certain stamps. It works really well when you're doing like a reflection. You know, when you put trees and water and then you want the reverse down there, because it can be a little bit blurry. But obviously for this one, we don't really want him blurry. So in comes the Melon Mambo marker. And because it's a line stamp, it's pretty easy to just follow the lines and make it a little bit darker. And that makes everybody happy because you can see it better. I am going to twist this around in all kinds of directions Try to keep your drawing the lines as smooth as you can. It's easy enough to pick up your marker if you're feeling like it's getting a little bit wobbly. There's his little foot and toe, his little haunch right here, and his underbelly. And then this is where it didn't stamp super great, so I'm going to fudge it a little bit, give him a little toe in there. Then this is his cheek down into his first leg. And then we're going to go around. Now see, I made that one a little bit wiggly, but that's okay. I'll just make it a little bit. There's his little eyebrows. And down his face and his little whiskers. Let's see, did I get everything? I think I missed right here. And his other little foot. There you go. And really, especially if you're not a stamper, but even so, let me pull these both up so you can see them. See, I can hold it without my fingers in the way. It looks pretty good. So keep in mind that there are stamps out there that you can actually reverse. We actually sell stamps that you can reverse, but in this case, we didn't have one. So next we're going to take our watercolor. I know I've been on a coloring kick if you've been following me. Today I'm going to use watercolor paper. It's 5x7. You don't have to use watercolor paper. You can, in fact, just use regular cardstock because you're not doing like a super amount. Oh, this little sticker came off. A super amount of blending. But I am going to use my glass mat and I can clean it up later. And I'm going to start with the Balmy Blue. So basically I just tap it, get some, well, I started with the green, so that's really bad. Let me see. Look at that. I can take it off. I'm going to do this, then I'm going to use this. And I might have to switch brushes because this is pretty green. Now to clean this off, if I really want to, let me see what happens when I do this. Yeah, we're back to blue. If I really need to clean this off, you can wash these brushes. Just I run them under water. I don't use any soap, and I just until it runs basically clear. So let's try that again. I shouldn't have opened that. That's my fault. And as you can see, I'm just brushing a little bit off here because I don't want it to be too harsh. I'm also starting off the page, and I'm starting with my blue. And the fun thing is, I am doing all this shading. I can pick up this ink if I want to and get a little bit more. Now, I don't want it super dark. I can also pick up the ink that I left over here. I don't want it super dark, so I'm kind of bringing it in off of the paper so you don't get a harsh line. I'm going to cut this off, so I'll show you what happens if you don't do that. You get this big blob, and you can kind of get rid of it, but not really. So better to start light. And I'm also not filling it in completely because the clouds have, you know, there are clouds in the sky. So it kind of makes it look like there's clouds. Now we'll do the green where it belongs. Again, I'm tapping it off there because you see that? It's really dark when I do that. This is a juicy ink pad. And that does make a difference. You can see the big spot there. But here's what I'm going to do with that spot. I'm going to actually pick up some of that ink and use it to finish this off. Again, I'm not looking for it to be completely filled in. I'm just going to wipe this off with a scrap, and it's a little bit dried, so I'm going to squeeze it with my stamp cleaner. Ooh, squeaky noise. Okay. And this, although it may become discolored, which does not bother me, you can run that under water, and you can use mild soap on that. Okay, so my surface is back to being clean. I'm going to cut this down first so I know how big I need to make that. Let me get this out of the way. And for the watercolor paper, it needs to be 4 3/4 by 3 1/2. So you have to kind of decide how much grass you want versus how much sky you want. This is over 5, so I'm cutting off a little bit of the green. And then I'm going to go so that it is 3.5 this way. Light is right on me. All right. There you go. So now you can see I have a good blend of sky and grass. And then I said this needs to be 4 7/8. 4 7/8. And as you can see, I'm cutting off the big blob that I made, which I did on purpose, but that's okay. All right, now we're gonna decorate it with our little grass. And I'm using garden green again, which is the color I used here, but of course that was blended. And you don't really want to make it like all right across. And you notice that, like, sometimes I'm just doing like the top of it. I'm trying to make it be looking like it's coming from behind. And that one was a little bit too light, so I'm just going to go ahead and add that in. And you can also, you know, do second generation stamping, which is just, I'm stamping it off here so it's not so dark when I do it. There, now they got a good base of grass. I can put this away because we're done with that color. We're also done with Balmy Blue, so we'll leave that over there. I'm going to need the Melon Mambo. Okay, so then next, let's wipe this up a little bit because I did make a mess there. And of course, I can wash this off later when you're not around. Okay, make sure I don't have really dirty hands because that's a real common issue. And we'll just start gluing. So I'm going to start with my my base, and as you can see, I have 2 sheets of paper. Now you can go out to my, if you're watching me on YouTube and you want this project sheet, go to stampmesilly.com, and in the blog post there will be a link to pick up this blog sheet, and it gives you all of the cutting measurements and what to do with everything else. So one of these goes on the inside, so I'm going to go ahead and get that going. And you know, this color is actually light enough if you use black ink that you could go ahead and write a sentiment or write a note in there, and that would be cute. But I'm using our colored cardstock, which does not come in a thick version. So by adding this on the back, it makes it more thick actually than the regular thickness. And then I'm going to put the white on the basic white on the front as well. I tried different variations to come up with what order. I started with a basic white background, you know, as the A2 card, and just switched it up. And this one I like the best. Now, you may prefer to have the smaller version here with the pink and make it really pop. And I thought about doing that. Actually, I showcase my colors. I do stuff like this. I will go, okay, what if I do another one like this and then one like this? Doesn't have to be a full sheet. Just use your scraps and go, that's too much, you know, Melon Mambo or whatever it is you decide. And that's how I came up with this arrangement that I like the best. So I'm going to put this down. Now I'm going to have to make a couple more of these cards because I have 5 grandkids. So I need to make enough, not all the same. I can send one to one family that looks like this and one to another family that looks like that. But I can't do it to all the same because that would just be no fun. So then I'm going to go ahead and put on the watercolor paper. Now, like I said, you can use basic white to do this. It would be fine. You're not blending enough. If you use the watercolor, it's a heavier paper. I'm using more glue. It's very strong glue, but I wanted it everywhere, not just around the edges. And it looks like I did not cut enough. Now, this is my favorite thing to do, is to get glue all over. my cutter, but it's not the right width. I must have cut it poorly. Let me go back and look at it. It should be 3.5. Oops, not that way. 4 and 3/4. 3/4. 4 and 3/4. Yep, see, I did a bad job. It's not quite the right. And so I take that off. This is stuck. Now I've got glue there. We will fix that problem later. All I'm going to do is take some, probably all I need is just the ink remover. Now this is getting a little bit dry, so I'm going to go ahead and add a little backup. Not a lot, because there is still some on there. And try that. Let's put this on right. How many mistakes can Jan make in one video? But I told you, I don't redo my videos. I just go with it. Because, you know, everybody makes mistakes. Everybody has oopsies. And this is a very narrow border. And that might be something you're not comfortable tackling right now. There we go. It's pretty good. And that's okay. You do you. I like a thin border once in a while to make something stand out. These bunnies, I'm going to put, let me get it started. It's a new half pack. This is only one sheet, and I think you get 3 sheets in a package. But I cut them in half because it fits in my drawer better, in case you're wondering. My fingers are sticky because I cut something after. You can put 4 or 5. If you know you're mailing it, you might want to give it a little bit of a extra one in the middle. I'll show you on this one. Probably do feet, tail, and then stick one in here. Okay. Now let's get these bunnies on here. Now you'll notice when you put them on here, oh, one of them came off. They have to be kind of close. So you might keep that in mind. I might leave that one there when I take this one off, so I kind of know where I'm trying to place my bunnies. Oops, that one's already off. Kind of hard to take it off a second time. All right, so I want my bunnies to touch. I don't want his tail hanging over. I want him in the grass. There's my bunny. Now that he's there, I can take this one off more easily. These things stick everywhere. I love them. I love them, but I don't love them in my kitchen for some reason. I don't know how. They stick to me, and then I walk around and drop them everywhere. They end up in my laundry sometimes. I've found them everywhere. They're mysterious. And my fingers are still sticky. Okay. Here we go. I want my bunny noses touching because they're friends. There we go. Now we're going to do the sentiment, and we need for that this cut with our double oval, and this is going to be the scallop. You can cut this down so that you only get, you know, the shape of the oval, and I tend to do that more with the white because the white's down here, and it does kind of get on everything. Grab a piece that is narrow already. This is probably too wide, but that's okay. We'll use it anyway. And this one is my sentiment that says, "You're a friend like no other." Let me go ahead and stamp this. And close this back up because you know me, I'll stick my finger in it. All right, so what I was saying is when you cut this one out, it's nice to have a tail. If you don't have enough to hold on to, put a sticky note on the end of it, and that can help center it. So what I was meaning is, you can see that I'm wasting some of it. It's going to get cut up there, but I think you want to cut 1 1/8 inch, I think is about, let's see, 1. Yeah, if you do 1 1/8, 1 1/4, you can waste less on cutting some of the upper section. I really don't care, so it's fine. Now this I glued down flat. And then I did pop up. And if you don't push it down, you can really still move it around quite a bit because you're not making it real interested in the paper underneath it. There you go. You can also use reverse tweezers. Holy cow. Reverse tweezers to hold it. And then I did, because I know I'm mailing these, I did use 3. These things are not expensive, so why not? Not that it needs to have 3, but 3 will make it not squish in the middle when it gets mailed. Speaking of mailing, I did, in fact, weigh this with an envelope, and it is exactly 1 ounce. So I personally, because I want to make sure it gets to where I want it to go, would put an additional ounce stamp. It doesn't cost the regular amount. It's not 60, whatever stamps are now, 65 cents. It's like 30 cents or something. So it is good to have. But there you have it. Bunny and Friends and reverse stamping. How cool is that? I hope you enjoyed this. Please, again, consider subscribing. It helps get the word out, and the more people I have, I don't make any money on it. I'm not that influential, but it does help get my projects out there, and I enjoy seeing people commenting on my projects and telling me what they'd like to know next, or any criticism is fine as long as it's positive. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Bye.